Hello and welcome to Senior Wellness. I'm Dr. Robert. Let me get straight to it. If you're over 60 and feeling more tired, less energetic, or not quite yourself in the bedroom, you've probably been told that's just aging. But what if that's not the full story? Well, that's exactly what one of my patients heard, until he landed in the ER 3 months later, thinking it was a heart attack. But the real problem wasn't his heart. It was poor blood flow in places no one ever talks about. Poor blood flow doesn't just affect your legs. It can slowly take away your energy, confidence, and intimacy without warning. I've spent over 30 years helping men reclaim their health, vitality, and closeness with their partners. And here's what I've learned. Aging isn't the problem. The real issue is what's being overlooked and how small changes can lead to big improvements. One of those changes involves something simple sitting in your kitchen right now. Baking soda. Used the right way, it can help boost circulation, support artery health, and help you feel more alive again, physically and emotionally. In just a moment, I'll show you exactly how it works, how to use it safely, and what mistakes to avoid. No medical jargon, just clear step-by-step guidance. Before we start exploring simple ways to stay healthy and well, I'd be truly grateful if you could take a moment to like this video. That small gesture helps more people just like you discover these gentle, useful tips. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, whenever we share something new, you'll be the first to know, and we'd love to have you with us. Now let's uncover the truth most men over 60 never hear, and why fixing your circulation may be the key to getting your spark back. 1. The hidden epidemic. Compromised circulation in men over 60. I remember a gentleman named Arthur, 69 years old, a retired school principal, married for over 45 years. He came to my office not specifically for a cardiac concern, nor even primarily for issues with intimacy. He simply stated, "Dr. Robert, I just do not feel like myself anymore." His hands often felt cold, even during warmer months. He found himself dozing off earlier each evening, and although he did not voice it directly at first, I sensed he was carrying a quiet burden, a sense of loss he could not quite articulate. As we talked further, he admitted that intimate moments had become infrequent, awkward, and at times even emotionally painful. Not physically, he clarified, but in his heart. He felt as though he were slowly fading from the man he once was. What Arthur was experiencing is far more prevalent than most people imagine. In fact, it is one of the most widespread and frequently overlooked challenges facing men over 60, and it all begins with blood flow. As we age, the inner lining of our blood vessels can begin to lose its suppleness. Arteries may become less flexible, blood may not circulate as freely, and the smaller vessels, those responsible for keeping us warm, energized, and responsive, can start to narrow, much like aging pipes in an old house. This does not happen overnight. It is a gradual encroachment, stealing vitality bit by bit until we begin to attribute it merely to getting older. But it is not just aging, it is compromised circulation, and its impact extends beyond physical health. It affects how you feel as a man, as a partner, as a complete human being. It can leave you feeling frustrated, disconnected, and wondering if your best years are truly behind you. I have seen men begin to doubt themselves, question their worth, and even shy away from affection. Not because they no longer care, but because their bodies are not responding as they once did, and no one ever explained why. The encouraging news is that this decline is not an inevitable fate. There are effective ways to support circulation, restore flexibility to your blood vessels, and reignite that spark you may have thought was extinguished for good. And believe it or not, one of the simplest yet most effective tools I have ever recommended is likely sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. Yes, I am referring to baking soda, but not in the way you typically see it used. Allow me to show you how this humble household staple, when used correctly, can begin to counteract the very processes that may have been holding you back, and why the next few minutes might just change the way you think about your body and its potential forever. If you are still with me and this message is resonating, please go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments. It lets me know you are engaged, you care about your well-being, and you are ready to explore what is next. Now let us move forward to our second key insight. 2. The unspoken consequences beyond cold hands and feet. I'll never forget the day Richard sat across from me, 73 years old, sharp, kind, and usually full of quiet confidence. But that day, something was different. He looked down and said softly, "Doctor, I don't feel like a complete man anymore." His labs were normal. His heart sounded fine. But I could see it. Something deeper was off. Richard wasn't just tired. His body wasn't delivering blood the way it should, to the places that matter most for energy, intimacy, and emotional connection. Poor circulation isn't just about cold hands or slower walks. It can quietly chip away at your sense of self. It affects how you feel as a man, as a husband, as you. Think of it like the lights in your house slowly dimming. First, you feel a bit tired. Then maybe your sleep isn't great. Then when the moment for closeness comes, your body just doesn't respond like it used to. That's when the doubt creeps in, not just physically, but emotionally. You start pulling away. You stop feeling like yourself. The real issue often lies with something called endothelial function, the delicate lining of your blood vessels. When it's damaged, your body produces less nitric oxide, which is vital for keeping your vessels open and your blood flowing freely. Without it, those tiny vessels, especially the ones involved in arousal, warmth, and brain function, begin to suffer first. What starts as mild fatigue or occasional intimacy troubles can be an early warning sign of deeper vascular problems, like heart disease, stroke risk, or more persistent erectile dysfunction. Sadly, many men don't make the connection until it's already affecting their lives in ways they never expected. But here's what gives me hope every single day. Your body wants to heal. Blood vessels can become flexible again. Nitric oxide can be restored naturally. And one of the simplest tools to support this healing? It might already be in your kitchen, baking soda. When used the right way, baking soda can help improve circulation and support the very systems that keep you feeling alive, strong, and connected. Many of my patients return saying, "I didn't think I could feel this way again." So let me walk you through exactly how it works and why this simple remedy might be the gentle push your body needs to start healing from the inside out. 3. Baking soda, an unassuming ally for vitality. I recall when Mr. Walter Schmidt, a gentle 68-year-old retired librarian, came to my practice after having tried a multitude of approaches. He had explored various supplements, prescription medications, and even, he admitted with a touch of embarrassment, devices he had ordered from late-night infomercials. "Nothing seems to have a lasting effect, Dr. Robert," he said, shaking his head. "I feel like I am constantly chasing a fleeting solution." He was weary, not just physically, but in his spirit. Then I asked him a question that seemed to catch him by surprise. "Mr. Schmidt, do you happen to have baking soda in your kitchen?" He looked at me, a little puzzled. "You mean for baking cakes?" I smiled. "Yes, that is the one, but its uses extend far beyond cakes. Most people think of baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, as just something for baking or absorbing odors in the fridge. But very few realize its surprising impact inside the body, especially for men struggling with poor circulation, low energy, and diminished vitality. Baking soda isn't a miracle cure, but when used properly, it can gently support blood flow and oxygen delivery, two things that matter deeply as we age. You see, as we get older, our bodies can become more acidic due to stress, diet, or natural changes in kidney function. This subtle acidity can tighten blood vessels and limit oxygen availability. Exactly what you don't want if you're already feeling sluggish, cold, or disconnected. A small amount of baking soda, dissolved in water and taken at the right time, can help neutralize that acidity. This simple shift can promote better blood circulation, which often translates to more energy, improved warmth, and even a renewed sense of intimacy. Mr. Schmidt started using it under guidance. Within weeks, he noticed subtle yet meaningful changes, brighter mornings, less stiffness, and a spark of interest he hadn't felt in years. No, it's not a magic bullet, and it won't replace healthy eating or regular movement. But for many men, it becomes the missing piece that helps everything else work better. That said, I need to be very clear. What helps in the right dose and method can be harmful if done carelessly. This is why understanding the how matters just as much as the why. So before you grab that orange box and start mixing, let me show you the exact, safe way to use baking soda to support your circulation without putting your health at risk. 4. The critical importance of correct usage, a word of caution. Let me be completely honest with you. I've seen both the benefits and the dangers of using baking soda. For some men, it has helped restore their energy and confidence. But when used without proper understanding, it can cause real harm. Take Mr. Edwards, a lively 71-year-old who still played golf every week. He read online that baking soda might help with blood flow. Thinking more would work faster, he started taking a full teaspoon in the morning and another at night. Within days, he was in the ER, bloated with high blood pressure, heart palpitations, and mental confusion. His kidneys, already under quiet stress, couldn't handle it. Here's the truth. Baking soda isn't dangerous by itself, but it's not something to take lightly either. It's not like a multivitamin. It changes your internal chemistry. It affects your pH levels, fluid balance, and sodium levels, all of which are more sensitive as we get older. In your later years, your body is like a finely tuned instrument. Adding too much sodium, even from baking soda, can raise your blood pressure, disrupt your heart rhythm, and cause swelling or dizziness. I've had to help patients recover from these mistakes, not because they were careless, but because they simply didn't know the risks. The good news is, these problems are entirely preventable. When used properly, baking soda can gently support your circulation and energy. But proper use involves much more than just using a smaller spoon. It means taking it at the right time of day, drinking enough water, knowing how it may interact with your medications, and most importantly, listening to how your body responds. Safe use requires awareness, patience, and sometimes guidance from a health professional who understands your history. I often remind my patients, just because something is natural doesn't mean it's always safe. Even water taken in excess can cause harm. But when used with care, baking soda can be a simple, effective way to support how your body functions. And if you're still with me now, I know you're not looking for a quick fix. You're looking for something real, something safe that helps you feel like you again. So next, I'll walk you through exactly how I recommend using baking soda, when to take it, how much to use, and one small but important step that can make all the difference. 5. The safe and sensible approach. How to begin. When I bring up baking soda with my patients, the first question is almost always the same. Okay, Dr. Robert, but how do I actually use it? That's the right question, because the difference between helping your body and accidentally harming it comes down to how you use it. For most healthy adults over 60, the best and safest starting point is this. Just 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda stirred into an 8-ounce glass of water once per day. Take it on an empty stomach, preferably first thing in the morning. Not after meals, not right before bed, and definitely not multiple times a day, just once. It may sound like a small amount, but your body doesn't need more to begin noticing benefits. I recall Mr. Peterson, 75, who struggled with afternoon energy crashes and cold hands that never seemed to warm up. We began with that simple morning dose. Within 3 weeks, he told me, I feel steadier, clearer, and my hands aren't freezing all the time anymore. But there's one key factor many people overlook. Hydration. Baking soda works best when your body's properly hydrated. That means drinking water regularly, not just when you're thirsty. When your body's well hydrated, your blood flows better, oxygen delivery improves, and your energy, memory, and even intimacy can feel stronger. Also, and this is very important, if you're taking medications for high blood pressure, heart conditions, or kidney issues, please check with your doctor before starting. Baking soda affects your body's chemistry, especially sodium levels, and it's always wise to make sure it fits safely into your routine. Think of it this way. If you had a vintage car, you wouldn't take it on the road without checking under the hood, right? Your body deserves that same thoughtful care. The truth is, most men don't need a miracle. What they need is one small win, something real they can feel. A steady step forward that reminds them they're still strong, still vital, and absolutely still in the game. This simple habit can be that starting point. Now, if this is making sense to you, I'd encourage you to stick with me just a bit longer. Because up next, I'll share the inspiring story of a 77-year-old man who followed this exact method and added just one tiny but powerful step that took his results even further. You'll want to hear what happened. Conclusion: reclaiming your spark. One step at a time. There is a gentleman named George. May often recall with a smile. He was 77, a widower, a man of quiet dignity who did not speak often unless he had something truly meaningful to convey. He came to see me after a friend from his gardening club mentioned our discussions about baking soda. He was not seeking a miraculous transformation. He simply wished to feel a bit more like his old self again, more alive, more connected, perhaps even open to the possibility of welcoming a new companionship into his life. We started him on the same gentle routine I have shared with you today. That small, carefully measured dose of baking soda in the morning, a strong emphasis on consistent hydration, and mindful observation of how his body responded. But George added one more crucial element that, in his case, made all the difference: unwavering consistency. He did not just try the mixture once or twice and then forget about it. He respected the process. He patiently gave his body the time it needed to adapt and respond. Within a few weeks, the changes were not dramatic in a startling way, but they were steady and undeniable. He noticed more warmth in his hands and feet, his sleep quality improved, and he found himself more present and engaged in conversations. Then one day, with a small, almost shy smile, he shared, "Dr. Robert, I genuinely did not think I would ever feel this kind of closeness, this kind of simple joy again. But I do." What I have shared with you today may sound straightforward, but please do not underestimate the potential power of simple, consistent actions. We have talked about how compromised circulation can silently affect millions of men over 60, how it can insidiously steal energy, weaken intimacy, and foster the feeling that your best years are irrevocably behind you. We have explored how baking soda, when used correctly and responsibly, can help to restore a healthier balance within the body, support improved blood flow, and gently bring life back into areas where things may have felt numb, sluggish, or quiet for far too long. And we have made it abundantly clear that this is not about quick fixes or miracle cures. It is about providing your body with the thoughtful support it needs, with care, patience, and profound respect for its innate wisdom. If you have been feeling tired, disconnected, or perhaps even a little hopeless about what you feel has been slipping away with time, I want you to know this with certainty. It is not too late. The capacity for healing, for rejuvenation, is still very much within you. Your body has not given up. It has simply been waiting patiently for you to listen and respond to its needs. So perhaps this one small, manageable change is your ideal place to begin. One glass of water, one simple habit, one quiet, deliberate decision to take your health, your energy, and your confidence seriously. Not someday in the distant future, but today. Because you are not done yet. You still matter profoundly, and there is so much more life, more connection, and more joy left to feel and experience. If this message has resonated with you today, I warmly invite you to like this audio blog and perhaps share it with a friend or loved one who might also benefit from this information. And please do leave a comment below, whether it is a 1 to let me know this was helpful, or even a brief thought or experience of your own. Your voice is a valued part of our senior wellness community, and you never know whose life your words might positively touch. Thank you for joining me.